Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys. On behalf of Mayor Stephen M. Fulop, the Jersey City Municipal Council, and the 9/11 Memorial Committee of Jersey City Incorporated, we'd like to welcome you all here to Reflections 2020. It is now my honor and pleasure to introduce the MC of today's program, the voice of the 9/11 Memorial Committee, Mr. Gary Nye.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending the 19th Annual Reflections Ceremony here on the Jersey City waterfront. This is a different ceremony this year. It's an abbreviated one due to the pandemic. We are here to reflect on the lives that were lost on that dreaded day when the North and the South Towers were struck and America was attacked. But you see the steel behind us, which represents the North Tower and the South Tower, where we are strategically, longitude and latitude, exactly where those buildings once stood. So we, the 9/11 Committee, the Honorable Stephen Fulop, and the Municipal Council, thank you and respect you, especially to attend now during the pandemic, when not only are we reflecting on the lives that we lost due to the terrorist attack on our shores, but now we have a pandemic which spans the globe and affects each and every one of you. What's most important is that we take the care for each other. So we will have each moment of silence, not only reflecting on the lives of 33 names on the other side of the stone, but also for each and every person that has passed in this year with this pandemic, because we are all connected. I say it again, we're all connected. Going to do the presentation of the colors. Would you please stand? Given by Mr. Joe Napolitano.
Present! Oh, present!
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and justice for all. Thank you.
Order! Oh, order!
Please remain standing for the invocation. We have Father Stephen Sansevier.
God of grace and God of glory, on this, the anniversary of the terrorist attacks of 9/11,
Grant us the wisdom to remember the lessons from that tragic day that make us more Christ-like. Drive away from us any vengeful urges, any hate-filled sentiment, any whisper from within or without that goads us to return evil for evil. As we look back and recall where we were, who was with us, and how we felt that fateful day, may those vivid memories compel us to acts of kindness, words of love, and demonstrations of community. May the myriad of images of helpers, firefighters, police officers, pastors, office workers, ordinary citizens be the icons that inspire us to be helpless too. May texts and voicemails of "I love you" and "you are everything to me" assure us that love always has the last word, but that we should never wait to say it. We pray for those whose lives were forever changed on September 11, 2001. Grant comfort to those who grieve. Grant your grace and strength to those who were left behind to carry on for those courageous souls who went home. As we consider the fall day 19 years ago, grant us the ability to cling to the examples of goodness that emerged out of the horror. Strangers banding together to thwart more carnage, people lining up to donate blood, congregations opening their door to offer respite for anyone and everyone. May these acts of mercy, emulated in our lives, be the ripple that reverberates through history, revealing your sure power to bring redemption, reconciliation, and resurrection out of the depths of death and despair. And we ask this in your most holy and blessed name.
Thank you, Father. Please remain standing for the national anthem, then we'll retire the colors. Thank you. Please remain standing while we retire the colors.
Right. Hey. Hey. Forward.
You may be seated. Put your hands together. At this point in time, we'll have the Honorable Mayor Stephen Phillip share a few remarks with us.
Thank you. I want to just start by saying a thank you to the 9/11 Committee for the last 19 years doing this here at Exchange Place to memorialize those that we lost from Jersey City and the 3,000 souls that were lost overall. This year is obviously a little bit different as we try and balance tradition with safety. And I want to say thank you again to the 9/11 Committee for making sure that we moved forward and made sure that we still had a ceremony on 9/11. I think that this year, once again, we're reminded of the importance and the vital roles that our first responders play in our community. Similar to 9/11, this year we saw it firsthand, and that often those selfless individuals aren't thanked the way that they need to be. So as we memorialize and think about all of those people that we lost in 9/11, we should also spend a couple moments again and say how much we appreciate our police officers and firefighters and first responders that were vital on that day, on September 11th, and continue to show and demonstrate every single day how they're differentiated above and beyond regular people in what they do here serving us during this pandemic. So thank you all again, and God bless Jersey City, and of course, God bless America.
At this point in time, we'll have remarks from Councilman Bogiani.
It's 19 years, and I know some of the officers over here were here that day at Exchange Place. It's one of the most horrible sights ever, where several thousand people were brought from New York City to over here. The fire department, the police department, EMS. And I always, every year, when I get up to talk, I forget about the U.S. Army. I was called back from here with Bobby Orris, Sergeant Bobby Orris, to go to the police academy, where they brought us 2,000 people were brought over by bus to the Army Reserve Center, and the U.S. Army was great. That ground over there should be hallowed ground, because I think as some of you remember, the police officers that were here at that time and were on the job, the sight there was unbelievable. And it'll never be forgotten. And every time I go down to Exchange Place, I look around and I see the horror that went on that day. So once again, thank you to the fire department, the police department, the EMS, the nurses, the doctors, and the U.S. Army, because that day they were truly spectacular and proved what a great country we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you for those words. It was 8:46 that the first tower, the North Tower, was struck on that day. Some of you may remember or recall what you were doing. Every year we normally have the tugboat which sprays colors as we stand for the moment of silence. This year we won't have the boat, but we have you. And we'll be standing for that moment of silence. The still behind us, or behind me, represents the North and the South Tower. The beam to my right, your left, is 18 feet long, came from the South Tower, fell from about the 45th or 46th floor. The beam to my left, your right, is 15 feet long, and it fell from about 95 to 100 floor, based on the information we received. As the building got taller, the steel got thinner. And of course, what's laying across the top of it came from the North Tower, and it represents the center beam as you went up to the windows of the world. We formed it in the form of an A, and we call it Twisted Mango, for the torque of the heat twisted and tore the steel, but as you see, it's still strong, and the A stands for America. Please stand for the moment of silence. Few technical difficulties this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please bear with us. Question of the Ages by Miss Carol Lester. Put your hands together, please.
All the ways we spend our days can seem so meaningless, but yet every single act of thought could tip the scales. We are balancing precariously. We're on the edge of the questions of the ages. Questions of the ages. Questions of the ages. Well, I never knew what freedom meant till the day the sky fell down, and all that I'd accumulated crashed into the ground. And through the numbing silence, my heart beat to the sound of the questions of the ages. Questions of the ages. Questions of the ages. What is there by love? Can we say children? When will it be enough to bring an end to suffering? What is there but love? Well, I can't believe that history has chosen us as pawns. We're standing on a bloody stage, our costumes are on. A black smoke curtain rises, and we speak our lines from the questions of the ages. Questions of the ages. Questions of the ages. What is there but love? Can we say children? When will it be enough to bring an end to suffering? What is there but love?
Thank you very much, Ms. Carol Lester, who's also one of our executive members. As I was saying earlier, this day, Reflections, means a lot more because we're in the midst of a pandemic. So it was said, as we live, we die. No truer statement has been made other so much as that one. In the midst of living, we are dying. And the pandemic, COVID-19, clearly is an illustration of that. We have a rendition by Miss Marguerite Howling called Precious Lord, Take My Hand. Would you put your hands together?
Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I'm tired, I am weak, I am worn through the storm and through the night. Lead me on to the light. when my way rolls stream. Precious Lord, linger near when my light is almost gone. Hear my cry, hear my call, hold my hand, lest I fall. Take my hand, precious Lord, and lead me on.
Thank you, Miss Marguerite Holland, for those soothing words. At this time, put your hands together for our Councilman Rolando Levin.
Thank you, Gary. Good morning. It's always my honor to be with you. Not that this is something we want to celebrate, but to commemorate and to join you in mourning today. 2020 brings a whole new set of circumstances as we remember 9/11 and memorialize that with COVID-19, as Gary said, and the pandemic. 19 years ago today, we didn't think that we would ever see such a horrific loss of life in Jersey City and in this area. And yet today we see that the loss of life and the numbers pales. But when we reflect on 9/11 and we think about the loss of life then, they're not comparable. We shouldn't make comparisons, I should say. It was very different loss of life, right? It was life lost very intentionally, ripped from our families and our communities, violently and intentionally. And it reminds us of that always that freedom is never free, that there were forces that sought to hurt and harm our democracy and our freedoms here in America. And so today, as every year we commemorate the loss of those lives, the families that are mourning, we mourn with you, and we grieve with you on this day. And we also acknowledge and celebrate the heroism of our first responders. In a time when so much social unrest, that changes nothing when we remember 9/11, and particularly that our first responders show courage and bravery under the most dire of circumstances. So we say thank you to them and their families, to those who lost their lives. God bless America. God bless Jersey City. Thank you all.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you. Thank you. We are approaching the second moment of silence. And as I said earlier, this is an abbreviated program. Normally we would go a little longer. But after the second moment of silence, Father Sansevier will come give the benediction. We will have taps blown. Then the mayor, council, 9/11 committee members will take the mementos, which are carnations and the wreath, and deposit it into the Hudson River as the Battle Hymn of the Republic plays, and that will be the end of the program. Next year's program will be the 20th year, and it will be an extended one. We will also be having a celebration for the former Mayor Glenn Cunningham for establishing this committee in remembrance of those who lost their lives. At this time, put your hands together for Imagine, which is reflection.
tree. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one.
It is now 9:01 and 48 seconds. 48 seconds was the difference between a smile on the face, greeting your coworker, kissing your loved one good day, and never returning. I made an error earlier. We have not run the names for the 33 lives. So before we do our benediction, we will do that because that is the purpose for us being here. Will you please stand, look towards New York for the moment of silence. Please remain standing while we ring the bell for the dearly departed 33 souls left on that day. Please remain standing. You may be seated. As we conclude our program, Mr. John Guarini, the chairman of the 9/11 Memorial Committee of Jersey City, will share some remarks.
Good morning. I would like to thank the mayor, the city council, everyone here that always takes part for 19 years with this ceremony. It's always an honor and a privilege to be here. What I want to announce, though, is that the police and the fire department were on the front lines. They were our heroes. Till this day, they went over there and did extraordinary things. They were there day and night, helping in any way they could, retrieving whatever they could, all the people that were lost, collecting as much as they could. And they lost so many. They lost police, they lost firemen who gave their lives for us. We're here to tell that story. And it should never be forgotten, because those who forget history are doomed to repeat it. So, what I also would like to say, I'm here because of one man, Glenn D. Cunningham. He was the first African-American mayor and senator of Jersey City. He was a Marine. He came up through the ranks in the police department, became public safety director, taught criminal justice, went on to become the U.S. Marshal's director of the state of New Jersey, appointed by Clinton. And because of him, we're in this location, which was mobilized under his watch. We're not going to forget him either. He was a man with great compassion and empathy. If he drove down the street and seen a homeless man, he would get out of his car and walk over and ask him if he needed any help. You don't see that today, that's for sure. He was unique to Jersey City. He was one of Jersey City's main heroes. He really was, he loved this town with all his heart and gave with all his heart. So next year we're going to start a foundation which is going to be called Glenn D. Cunningham and the 9/11 Memorial Committee for the City of Jersey City. It's going to be held at the Hyatt, and we're going to be putting together a really nice ceremony in tribute to him. He was one of the greatest men of Jersey City.
Thank you. We're going to be concluding our program. There was something that I missed earlier. Another one of our members, fantastic songwriter, Mr. Hank Fellows, will be listening to a rendition written by him called Halfway to Heaven. Would you put your hands together for that, please? Next year we're in.
Side by side in the gleaming
Thank you so very much. We have two of our members, 9/11 members, will read the names, and then we will proceed with ending the program.
First of all, I would like to apologize for the pronunciation of some of the names that I'm going to name. Alak Agarwal. Ivan Kirillos Fairbanks Barbosa. Sherry Ann Bordeaux. Edward Caladron. Sarwana Chalasani. John Robert Cruz. Jamel Legacy DeSantis. Andre Della Bella. Christopher Moore Dinkoff. Samantha M. Egan. Barbara G. Etzold. Nancy Carol Farley. Anne Marie Sellerin Ferrara. Boyd A. Gatton. Rosa J. Gonzalez. John Richard Cohane. Silale Kahu. Andrew Lacorte. May they rest in peace.
First, I'd like to thank our mayor. We're one of the only cities that are still having the 9/11 in our committee, before I read the rest of the names. Leon Labor, Y. Rung Lin, Alan Linton, Jerome Robert Lohez, Manuel L. Lopez, Joseph L. Lavara, Waleska Martinez, Francis Joseph Nazario, Angel Perez, Susan M. Polio, Ada Rosario, John Schlitzel, Thomas F. Switz, Mary Ellen Tiesi, Zenaida Soy, Edward Raymond Vanacore, Nathaniel Webb, John Charles Willett, Su Cheng Steve Wong, and Matthew David Yarnell.
Thank you. At this point in time, taps will be blown by Mr. Burton. Please stand. This concludes the 9/11 program for 2020. Thank you so very much for attending. We look forward to seeing you on the 20th memorial.
Thank you.